is love, I want everything. Touch my soul, touch my heart, don't judge my mental. They told me that life is simple, been real since Papa Pimple. I started out in the Randall Sonata, the presidential speak.
This is amazing to see, you know, and like, so this podcast, and I was like, wow, so look at this. It's like, man, and, you know, it's funny because Shannon was talking. She said, oh, man, she said, about the place. Like, it was cool, like I say, seeing that you started it. I said, man, look at you go, and I want to just say, you know, and commend you, Lorraine. This is very, you know, for speaking out there and not being afraid to not speak about it. Mm-hmm. It's powerful. It's very, very powerful. You know, it takes
Cameron.
a lot of courage.
Thank you.
Courage, because these are kind of conversations that are tough to have, and no one really wants to talk about it. But I think these kind of conversations is what actually helps get to the core of what we see so much that people are dealing with. We all deal with depression, all deal with anxiety. But if we don't talk about it because we've suppressed it, then the drug comes in, alcohol comes in, sex comes in, food comes in, all the addictions come in.
Yes.
You know, and so I'm so proud of you for sharing and for having, you know, for inviting me onto the podcast. And,
thank you for being on here, Cameron. I mean, it means so much to me.
Yeah. For me, one of the things I have to do in my life is I have to be creative. I have to. That has to be my addiction. Is being creative in a good way.
I know somebody else like that.
You know, where whether that's writing, listening to music, that's all part of the arts. You know, and then and I've been doing a ton of writing. You know, especially with this project that I'm working on now. It's really gotten me into the whole creative space. But
having people, let us know when you're ready.
Okay, I will.
Okay, so this is Instagram and that's Facebook.
Facebook.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is let's go ahead and have this to be camera 1.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna come in close. Whatever.
Hey guys, welcome to Silver Lining Nation, and we are so happy to have you guys with us again today. And I have an amazing guest. I'm so excited about this one, Cameron. Hey Cameron, how are you?
Hello, Lorraine.
Cameron, I've been knowing each other for a while. How long, Cameron?
Oof.
I'm gonna see do you get it right, because I'm gonna tell you where we met.
Before you answer that, let's go ahead and officially start, okay?
Okay.
Oh, we didn't start.
Oh, I know.
Just say hello to this.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey y'all, welcome to Silver Lining Nation, and I have a really great guest for you guys today, one that I'm really excited about. Cameron Lau is with us today, guys. I'm going to see whether Cameron remembers where we met. Cameron, do you remember when we met and how long we've been friends?
Okay, we've been friends for a long time.
Yep,
and
that's true.
It's honestly a blessing. It really is.
Thank you.
I want to say it was, was it 2008 or
Close.
7?
Close.
It was 2008 or 7, I want to
2008.
It was 8. Okay.
And you were working an event.
Yes.
And you were sampling Spam. You remember, Cameron? You were sampling Spam sandwiches. Man, I was so hungry. I kept going back, getting more Spam sandwich. And everybody was like, oh, you got to meet Cameron Lau. He's really hot. And I'm like going over there. I think I told myself I was coming to get the Spam sandwiches, but I think I was coming to take a peep at you too. So, but we ended, and then that laugh right there. Always get me. Guys, this laugh, Cameron makes you laugh. And I love that, Cameron. But Cameron and I hit it off, and man, we've been friends for a long time. We are, we're brand ambassadors, which I call BA. We call it BA. But that's how long we've been together as friends and working together. Sometimes Cameron's my manager, and sometimes I'm his manager. And but you know what? We really gel together well.
It's interesting. You know, sometimes in life, you meet people you just instantly click and get along with. You know, and that's what connects us as human beings. You know, is that when there's, you know, the ability to just instantly click and get along. It's a great thing. And
yes, and I've known you even before you got married. Cameron's he's married to a beautiful Shannon, and they have 2 beautiful children, a little girl and a little boy.
Yeah.
And how old are they, Cameron?
Oof, they're growing too fast. Oof. So our daughter is 6 now, and then our son is 2.
Awesome.
I always make a joke with our daughter. I always say she's 6 going on 16.
Well, you have a beautiful family.
Thank you.
And guys, this season, the podcast is about family. Cameron is not an addict nor an alcoholic. In fact, Cameron is here to represent the non-addicts. So Cameron's going to share his experience with how the addict and the alcoholic affect his life, because he's had some firsthand experience in that. And that's what Cameron's going to share with us today. So Cameron, let's talk about, you told me earlier you have friends that are, addicts. Do they realize that they're addicted to alcohol or drugs? Do they just, think that everything's okay?
Mm-hmm. It's always in that very first stage that there's never anything wrong. Mm-hmm. And then and taking a long time to actually admit it. And then what's frustrating about it on this side of things is that because especially when it's anyone that you love, you want to see anyone you love. You want to see them do better. Mm-hmm. You want to see them not struggle, not suffer, not be in pain. Mm-hmm. And that's what's hard being on this side is because especially when you love, I've had 3 very, very close ones that I love to see them go through addiction, and being there on this side of like I say, wanting to see them overcome it, and then you start wondering, say, well, how does this take hold of someone? Mm-hmm. And you start wondering, okay, is it something I'm not getting? Mm-hmm. Is something I'm not understanding? And then you feel guilty for yourself because you're like, well, I want to be able to help, but I can't. Mm-hmm. And so that I think that's kind of where it starts. That
on the non-addiction side,
correct,
you think
correct,
that's where it starts?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I say, you're in my experience, watching an individual struggle for a long time with drugs, and the 3 that I know very closely, all was drug related, and and like I say, for the longest time, it was denial. Oh no, I don't, and a refusal to seek help, because you don't want to look for help when you feel that there's not a problem.
Yes, because in their minds, they don't have a problem.
Right.
Only you can see it, but I'm okay.
Right.
Yeah. So have any of your friends or family ever went into recovery or sought help?
The beautiful thing about all 3 that I know is that they all actually did go in and seek help.
Okay.
So that was the thing is that, and one of the things that, and I've actually studied some of the courses because I just wanted to better understand it. Mm-hmm. Because the ones I love, and I say, well, how can I help? Mm-hmm. One of the things that was mentioned was that, having to have a support system. Mm-hmm. And in the 3, it took a long time, and unfortunately, it was a drastic change in life that happened that forced them to kind of say, I have to look in the mirror and realize, okay, this has to change. And so, and all you can really do on this end is just try to continue to love them and be patient, because ultimately God is patient with us. And so, like I said, in this, they did actually seek help, and finding it, and then being able to try to talk about that. But then in the back of your mind, you always start wondering, okay, will a relapse happen? Okay, is this going to be this way?
Do you fear? Is that a fear that you have of people, your friends that go into recovery, that it's not going to be real? Is that a fear?
To be honest, it's always there in the back of your head. It's always there, and it's not because of wanting to see them fail or but it's the fear of success
on your part or on their
on our part.
On your part as a non-addiction person.
Right.
So you feel that they're gonna fail?
No,
not succeed?
No. So what I'm referring to is that the fear of success is that it's too good. How long will it stay this good? Because we don't want to lose it being this good.
You don't want them to lose it because you see how good it's going for them, but you still have that fear that it's too good to be true.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Does that?
Okay.
Yeah. That's so like what it is. Like, okay, all right. Like in the three that I know is that when you go through recovery phase and you start seeing the improvements. And you say, "Oh man, this is too good. I don't want to lose this," because you feel like you're getting that loved one back.
Yes.
You feel like you're not losing them anymore. You're winning them now.
Right.
And so you don't want to go back to losing them. And so it's that fear of always going back of, I don't want them to go back to this addiction. I like this individual. I love this individual. This is who we've been trying to get and achieve. And we seeing the results. And I think that fear is always there.
Okay.
Even though the progress has been made, but I think it's more of the fear of, I don't want to see him go back because time has been lost.
Yes.
And we don't want to lose any more time. And that fear of going back to the drug or to the addiction or to alcohol or whatever the drug addiction is, it's not losing that time anymore.
So what would it take, or how long would it take for that individual to stay sober before you start trusting that they are for real or committed to their sobriety?
I think it varies. I think it varies on the individual with their trust. For me and mine, for me and my, I'm trying to think if I can put a time frame on it, but I think it's a good incremental goal. I think that when you've gone 3 months, it's okay. That's good. Can you go 6 months? For me, it's roughly about a year.
Okay.
For me, it's roughly about a year.
Okay.
And then once you get past that year stage, I said, okay, all right, cool. You've gone a year. This is a great thing to celebrate.
Maybe you'll give them the key to your house then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right around the year. Yeah, right around the year mark is when it's been in my case. And a lot of times, you kind of, you wonder about, okay, all right, can you trust the person? And I think that everyone does deserve to be given the opportunity, though. That I do. Now, in my case, I have other family members who it's taken a little bit longer to come around and trusting these individuals. And I think everybody adjusts on their own terms, and I think that, like I say, for me, it's roughly about a year. Other family members may take a little longer. Some may take a little less, but I think the beauty, the thing that I would hope that any addict keeps in mind is to stay focused. Because at some point, they're going to trust. They will. You just have to keep putting forth the effort. And eventually, they'll begin to believe that this is real. But I think a lot of people are scared that it feels like it's too good to be true. And that's why I was kind of talking about the fear of success. Because most people are afraid of failure. but there's an also fear of success. And what success is that, okay, your loved ones overcome this addiction and that they aren't going back, but you're afraid that it may, because it's too successful, it's too good to be true. And it's the fear of success. That's what I was kind of alluding to earlier.
Okay.
Was that it would end up being too good to be true. And going back again, now that it's been this good. If that makes sense. Like, say for instance, someone had an addiction. They got past a year. They got to year 2, and then they relapsed, and it went back into it. And it's like you start all over again. And I think that's
that wears you down. It wears you down. That makes you feel that you've not done something to help them. How do you feel when someone relapses? That's what we call it.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of guilt that's there and then almost to there's the it's almost like the impatience. Said, okay, all right, you feel like you was deceived. You feel like you were like you wasted your time. And then I think it makes it hard to trust again. And it's hard because when you love someone, you want to be able to know you can trust them.
Yeah. And how do I know that this time you're for real?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I can relate to everything that you said because I've been where I've said I'm not doing it anymore, and then I go back.
Yeah.
So I can understand the trust part. So would you rather for an individual to, I call it 12-step program. That's what we use. We don't use the other word.
Right.
So if they're in a 12-step program, would you rather for them to show you by the action and instead of telling you, hey, I'm going to this program and I'm going to do better. And once they show you by their action, I said it should take like a month. That there should be some kind of change. That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Would that build your hopes up where you could at least be able to support that individual? And would it kind of play down some of your doubts? The fears that you have. I don't know whether or not I should give my all in to trusting you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think that for the individual taking the first step of going to the first step part of recovery, then yes, I think that's an amazing accomplishment. I think that alone will start winning some of the family members over. And then I think that as time takes its course to see the physical changes, to see and I think that's, I kind of allude to like the first few months, first 3 months, saying, okay, cool, you've been sober for the first 3 months. And then it's a second phase, kind of good into the 6 months. Okay, cool, this is starting to feel real. I think that roughly about a year or so, like say in my case, it took me about a year for me to say, I can give you the keys to the house now.
Yeah.
Here's the keys to the car now.
Exactly.
But there was when in these 3 cases, there was when I first heard that, okay, going to recovery, I felt really proud. And I don't think that people know that. Is that on this side of things, when you hear that you're going to recovery, you've expressed vulnerability, open yourself up, and I think that's the start of building a new relationship with trust. Because the saying is, in order to receive a hug, you have to open yourself up. You have to be vulnerable. We all do, and I think that it's vulnerability that takes on both parts. For the one on a side struggling with the addiction and the one that's trying to help. It's going to be vulnerability on both parts in order to create trust again. But I think that taking the first step to go to recovery is so important. It's so crucial. And like I say, for me, I was very, very happy to hear that. I was very proud. But at the same time, I was like, okay, all right, are we going to go through with this? Are we going to finish the program? And I said, okay, and it's more of just kind of observing, you know, and not wanting to show too much, not wanting to show not enough.
Yeah.
So I think you get a lot of, you know, it sounds like that may be, you know, common amongst, you know, quite a bit.
Yes, I can relate to that. I know sometimes for me there was a lot of enabling. You know what that means? When the people that we love, they enable us. And were there a time when you decided that that's what you're doing and you decided to say no? What I mean is, like, I would call and manipulate money. Hey, I got to pay this bill. But I would take that money and I'd buy drugs with it. And after so long, my family got tired of doing it and they got smart, right? So can you give me an example when that happened to you and when you decided enough was enough?
Yeah. I had a quote that went in my head but I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not going to say the quote.
Love your laugh.
Yes. So in the three instances, it always seemed like there was this urgency, and you could, for me being, I've always been I've always been very interested in studying people and watching people and studying people. And so in these individuals, you can tell. And like for me, the actor side of me is to study humans and human behavior. And I'm fascinated with it. I've always been fascinated with it. And I always start kind of analyzing things. So, okay, all right. So in this instance, you know, hey, I need some money to help cover this bill, that bill, this bill. So, okay, yeah, sure, no problem. And then it comes back again. Well, I just need... the amount becomes really small, you know, where it's like, you know, I just need $20. I just need $10. I just need $5. Okay, all right, what's going on here? You know, and it becomes, you know, I just need this for, you know, and now, you know, I just need $5. You know, I'll be out at a, you know, I'll be down at a place of business and you see somebody getting gas, you know, so I just need $5, you know, and you can look and you can see that they're already on something. And that $5 ain't to catch a bus. It ain't to get food. It's to get the need or the fix for that addiction. And so, yeah, the hardest part is being able to tell someone you love no. Because naturally you want to say, yeah, anything for your family or for your friends or for your loved ones. You want to be like, man, you can count on me for anything. And I don't want to see you hurt. I don't want to see you struggle. I don't want to see you in pain. And the hard part is that you step back and say, you know, I got to let you be this way in order for you to hopefully look in the mirror and realize that you've got to take some action to fix this. But if I'm continuing to help fund this, so I'm helping, you know, giving you certain things, making it easier for you to get it, you know, the same thing even with living together, you know, there's been a lot of relationships that's been burned because of, you know, loved ones that live together with addiction.
Yeah.
You know, and then stuff comes up missing, you know, it's stolen, and you know what it was used for.
Yeah.
You know. It was to go, you know, and so the hardest part is even in situations, you know, having to either move out or have them move out, you know, and then to be able to say, I can't enable this. And you realize that, okay, naturally you want to give everything you can to help them, but you say, okay, I'm actually hindering them by being in the picture. And you don't want to remove yourself from that. And that's the hardest part. And I think that's where a lot of guilt comes from.
Hey guys, this is your girl Tam Cam, executive producer of Silver Lining Nation. Guys, thank you so much for watching another episode. We're working so hard. Guys, make sure you share, subscribe, but most of all, stay sober. Enjoy the rest of this episode.
Because we're supposed to take care of family.
Right.
And I know he's got an addiction, but I'm kicking him out in the street because he's pawned my shit.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But what am I doing? He's homeless. You know, that it is the guilt that we have.
Yeah.
But you know, you being on this side, we didn't care. All I thought about was I want what I want and I want it now. You know, there's no thought about how I'm hurting my family until you know I get off of whatever it is that I'm on. But you know, not kicking me out would have been just the worst thing that you could have been doing.
Yeah.
You know, that's not helping me. That wouldn't have helped me with my situation, but it's still hard. You know, it's still hard to do that to a family member. You know, so, and it affects your other family too, you know, by the other members in their family.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then have you ever had to deal with you kicking a family member out and then the other family is, oh, you shouldn't have, have you had that experience?
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. Because it's like, you know, I think everyone always has the same goal in mind of wanting to help. And it is struggling. What's the right way to help? Is there a right way to help? You know, and so, you know, you got a family member struggling. This family says, kick them out, put them on the streets. Another family says, no, you can't do that to them. That's a family. And it's almost like a war going on. And then everybody's in chaos.
Yes.
You know, and that's what makes it hard because, you know, as a family, how does a family operate? It should operate through love.
Yes. And that addict affects that whole family.
Yeah.
You know, and when I'm in my disease, I think, you're not doing it, I'm doing it. This is my business. I ain't hurting you. But what you just said, everybody's in chaos because of this one individual.
Yep.
Yeah, it affects.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And it makes it hard because, you know, you can't, families want to be together. You know, and like I said, you know,
we all we got.
You know, we all we got, you know, and, you know, and when you want to have everybody all together. Yes. You're not just, I can only have this part of the family or that part of the family and do separate events or separate occasions to get together, or we want to, you know, and the main one that we want is the one that usually has the disease
because he's
that's
fine.
The main, that's
he's
usually
fine.
always
he
the
brings
fun
the
one.
party.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. But we gotta have our wallets and pocketbooks. So and so come and have your stuff.
Right. Yeah. So that's what's. I say that's what's hard about it because you want to see everybody that's there, but and I think that kind of going back to our initial thought, you know, was you feel the guilt, because you love them and you want to help them and you want to be able to get to the point where you can trust them and have everybody together as a family. And everybody having fun, everybody having a good time, not creating drama, you know, or worrying that, okay, if we invite this individual, you know, what kind of drama is this going to bring now? You know,
come to the wedding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, come to the wedding, gonna steal shit. You know, and it's like, you know, So, but I think that's what, like I said, and everything. When it comes to family, that's what everyone. That's what we all love. We all love having our family together.
I know. Yeah.
You know, and your family, your friends, your loved ones, and it's a beautiful thing when you can have everybody together.
When they ain't fighting.
Right, exactly.
But you know, we mentioned earlier before the podcast started, and you and I've talked about this. You know, on weekends, we bring out the dominoes. Yeah. We bring out the barbecue grill. It's going to be a party. Right. And then, you know, it's going to be drinking and what else? The weed's going to come out. Yeah, it is. That's how we party, right? And it was like, that's what we do. Yeah. Our parents did it, and so what I'm getting at is we've always seen it. And if you can think back on when you were a kid, you had that one person that was just toe up, and they would just say, let him sleep it off, but nobody explained. Do you remember those situations?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You know, it was just something that we did. This is how the weed was just something that came out.
Right.
You know, it wasn't a bad thing. It's just when we take it, like you mentioned.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. We were talking about, and I've always kind of had this thing of where I saw, one drink. We use beer, for example. It's just beer. It's fine. Like you say, sleep it off. You'll be fine. Okay, we got weed. Okay, it's just weed. It's nothing gonna hurt us. Well, I think that now I need 2 beers or 3 beers or 4 or 5 or 6, and the same thing. I need one joint, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now this ain't enough. And I think that it gets the wheels rolling. Of okay, all right, this isn't strong enough. I need a stronger fix.
I got to take it to another level.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other question that we never really asked for that one individual, I always, at that family party, that I always have, I always used to sleep it off. You never really thought to ask, how are you doing?
And why is he like that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. There you go.
Yes. How are you really doing? Why are
What's
you doing
going on
this?
with him? Because it's a generation thing. It might skip one generation, but eventually it affects us as a culture.
It does.
But that's where I was getting at. We don't ask. I'm always saying that on the podcast. We need to ask.
Yep, absolutely.
But we were never told.
Right.
It was just let him sleep off. He okay. I mean, he come and it could be she. They would be fun people. I know I was fun when my nieces and nephews loved me.
Yeah.
Because I was a fun aunt, right?
Yeah.
And they knew I was going to say some crazy shit and act like a fool, and and they liked that as kids.
Yeah.
But I wasn't all right. And that's why I bring that up. That's just a fine example right there. How is he?
Right.
That's a good thing to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is he?
And I think that especially in families is that because you spend so much time with each other and that you're used to seeing each other that we just simply forget to ask. Or to say, well, I don't want to get all in your business. Yeah. That's another thing that we all, especially, we'll say, well, I don't want to get all in your business, but we really do.
I want to know your business.
Yeah. Because it goes back to being vulnerable, saying, you know what, listen, I'm really concerned about you. I love you. I want to know what is going on. Will you be vulnerable as well and share what's going on? Because I truthfully feel that, when there's addiction, well, it's there for a reason. What's actually up underneath that? What's going on? And I personally feel that if it's the ability to be able to express what's going on, could that actually help with the addiction? And that's the same thing with depression. Is that I feel that especially in today's world, depression, everybody deals with depression. So we act like it's something new. Oh, they're dealing with depression. Yeah. Everybody deals with depression. Everybody has it. I'm like, let's cut this notion out that only certain individuals get depression. Everyone gets it. The thing is how do you deal with it? And I think that instead of suppressing the feeling, it should be the other way around of expressing the feeling. I think the same thing with addiction is that, because what is the, well, if you use drugs and alcohol, what does it do? Or if you use food, sex, anything you use, it's suppressing a feeling. It's exactly what it's doing. Versus if it's the other way around of expressing it.
So what you're saying is get to the root of
exactly
what the issue is.
Yes.
What's really going on.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I totally agree with that.
You know, it's the same thing with even when it comes to prayer. You know, the not to, the whole point of prayer is to be able to express yourself to an ultimate creator, highest being. And the problem we run into as humans is that we try to handle it on our own. And say, and what are we doing? We're suppressing that feeling. We're suppressing those emotions. We'll handle it on our own. We can take care of it. The exact same thing when it comes to addiction. Exact same thing when it comes to depression. We don't want to let nobody else know. But the power of prayer is to express it. It's expressing those same things.
I call it playing God.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And I totally agree with that. You know, if I can't handle certain things, I have to pray about it.
Right.
So I can be given direction. And that's a part of my 12-step in recovery that I've learned that I can't do it on my own because it's too much. The world is a lot. Handling life situations.
It sure is.
You know, I can take the action, but I can't control the outcome.
Right.
I don't have the power to do that. If I don't like the outcome, I can do something else, you know, but there are some things I think that are meant to be on my journey. And those are the things that are going to be there.
Right.
And there's seasons for everything, I believe. But I believe in the power of prayer. The old people used to say when two or more come together, there's power.
There is.
Yeah,
Amen
and
to
I
that.
do believe
Amen.
that.
Yeah.
I
You know,
believe
it's interesting that you said that because what flashed me in this situation with individuals, the three individuals with recovery, was that when it reached that stage, that step in the 12 steps of the power of prayer, the beautiful thing is that if I'm on this side practicing that same thing, the power of prayer, we get to be that two together.
Oh, yeah. The two is amazing when it comes together.
Yes. Yeah.
Because, but I couldn't get the 12 steps. I mean, I have a religious background, but I didn't get sober in church. I couldn't get it. But I was able to come to a 12-step program, and I was able to. So the things that I learned in church is so mingled. It's so entangled with the 12 steps. It's amazing. Yeah, So it seems like you know something about the 12 steps. That's amazing.
Yes. From the three individuals that I know, I've gotten a chance to talk about, because I'm just curious about the 12 steps.
Okay,
I was talking
like
about
that.
what are some of the things that was talked about. And it was one of the things that I know is used is that having an ultimate creator, an ultimate being, because
a higher power.
A higher power. That's the word. That's exactly what it is. A higher power.
You're speaking my language now.
Yeah. You know, and for me on this side of things, I said, you know what? I said it helped me to understand. Okay, in my own faith. And me relying on a higher power. And I'm like, okay, if they're relying on a higher power, I'm relying on a higher power. Now we're speaking each other's language.
Yes.
And so this was going to help bridge that higher power. This was going to bridge the gap of the two to have trust that's there.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And
because those two literatures are so close.
Yes.
I mean, really close. And, you know, it talks about loving your fellow man.
Right.
I mean, being of service. That's our main primary is to stay sober and be of service to others. That's, where do you hear that at? All the time. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm impressed that you know some of the things that you know. I like that.
Yeah.
But I had to come and realize I came into the 12 steps so I can get what I learned in church. Because it just, all the punishment and the evil, that's all I heard. Now I can put it together and say, oh, that's not what they were trying to teach me.
Right.
This is what they were trying to say. You know, but I don't go to church. I don't go to church because I can't say shit and damn and all that.
Right.
So I go to my 12 step because I can say all that stuff.
It's funny. It's funny you mention that because I kind of felt the same. Very religious background, but you can't curse and
No.
So for me, my 12 steps was acting class. Because I could go in there, I could curse,
Yes.
and I could say the things I want to say, and and ironic enough was that my mentor, he passed away now. But one of the things that he tied in a lot of things on the acting side of stuff was the spiritual side of it. And
Awesome.
and interesting enough, we would use Ultimate Creator, Higher Power.
Okay.
And so when I started the 12 steps, I said, "This is familiar stuff I was picking up in acting class." I said, and the whole point was to be in service. And I realized, I said, well, that's the best way to live, if you ask me. Is to be in service of others. Because what are we here for?
Yes.
I said we were created.
That's our whole concept of the 12 step, to serve others.
Right.
And when you serve others, that's how you get successful.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's the key.
It is.
Yeah, serving others. And I love that. And I love that if there's something going on with me, I can get out of myself by calling someone or checking on someone or doing something for someone else.
Yeah.
And then I'm not thinking about me.
Right.
Yeah. So I love that you know the 12 steps because it works for a lot of different things.
It really does. It really does. And I would encourage anyone that's listening as well, if you're on the side of the loved one trying to help an addict overcome or get to the 12 steps, then for that individual on this side to also study the 12 steps. Because it would really help understand. Because I personally think that if you try to understand what someone's going through, it helps you be more patient. When you can kind of identify, you may not be able to identify to the full extent of what an addiction truly does. But I think that we all have our own addictions. Like I say, I mean,
they all look different.
Right. They're all a little different. It can be addiction. My addiction is chips. Now, when I came in, if you offer me some chips, I was going to say, yeah. Even though I already had a bag of chips, I'm going to say, yeah. But I think we all have our things, or cookies, or or sweets things. That's so and also too on this side, remembering that at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all are children of God. Yes. And if you have children, you understand that, okay, all right. And if you have multiple children, speaking of families, you kind of see certain kids, one child may progress different than the other one, but it doesn't mean you don't love them. You understand, okay, I got to understand this a little bit more here, understand this a little bit more here. And I think the willingness on this side to help try to understand goes a long way, because they're going to need you having that support system as they go through this recovery. So again, it's going back to that trust, but it's also that's the way to get to, okay, here's how I love you. And I think that's what a lot of people on this side don't understand, is how do I get to the point of how do I love you in this process? Do I give you tough love? Do I not be there? And so in our situation, I have some family members have gone the route of, okay, I need to see more. And the way for me to be there is to not be there, but that's their own. Again, I kind of go back to the route of, and I don't know whether it's the acting side or the creative side, but to understand what individuals going through. I personally believe that if we take the time to understand or try to understand what someone is going through and to learn like what the 12 steps teaches you, then it helps us to be able to kind of figure out a way to be there. I
like that. Yeah, I like that.
And in my case, by understanding the 12 steps, it brought me closer to the 3 individuals.
Good.
Good. That's going through it. And then we have so many things we can talk about.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think that it's kind of like a permanent bond because you almost start feeling like you're being in service to each other.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And the other thing that it does is that it holds each other accountable.
Ah, yes. Because you have this, I call it my blueprint.
Right. Yep.
And we also practice these principles in all our affairs. Yeah. That means those 12 steps, I should be practicing them in everything that I do. That's what that means. Yep. There are my principles, and that's what I try to live my life by. Do I do it perfect? No.
Right.
But I can recognize today when I'm not doing something because of that. Yeah. But Cameron, this has been... I love chatting with you.
Yeah.
So easy. So easy.
Yeah.
And guys, hope you guys have enjoyed my chat with Cameron and all our laughter. I love that. We're going to wrap this up, guys. And once again, if nobody tells you today, heard from us here at Silver Lining, we love you.
Yes, we love you. And keep fighting.
Stay sober, guys.